Hello and welcome. My name is Damo.
And I'm Clarky.
This is Footy Mailbag. Clarky, it's upgrade season, trades are flying across the boards, and there's panic as well, and people realising they can't afford the players they want. It's just a great time in Supercoach right now, isn't it?
It's a weird week because there's loads of good upgrade targets who are quite cheap, but they're not the ones that people really want. Does that make any sense? Like, we're in a week where Nasai Wangani Malira is a 560? 568? That's extremely cheap. Zach Merritt's under 600k still. Lockie Neal is 569. But those aren't the people that people really want. You know, like all these upper echelon guys, they're in the 600s still.
Yeah. And the rookies still have money to make.
Yeah, the other most difficult bit of looking at all my rookies and not wanting to cull them because I don't want to go too early and get rid of them to a rookie who's going to be bad. Because there's only one good rookie this week.
Yeah. We'll get to all that in just a moment. But Clarky, we've got to start off with what caught your eye, so kick us off.
What caught my eye is that Aaron Norton 90-degreed his neck and is still A, alive, and B, playing this week, most likely. What? Did you see this?
I saw it. To be honest, look, I have to commend Fox Footy for only playing the replay once. They didn't really see it in like they saw it happen, but they didn't see how he hurt himself, so they played it once. But I heard Channel 7 replayed it plenty of times.
Oh, yeah. As soon as he gave the thumbs up in the stretcher, they were like, oh, yeah, we can play this from multiple angles because he's not dead.
But, yeah, I mean, him being able to play this week, there's no concussion, the neck's intact, everything is quite remarkable. And he's been in the wars. In fact, everyone at the Western Bulldogs have been in the wars, but Aaron Norton especially, his hand, now his neck, but he's fine and he's playing. That whole scenario was just amazing. Like, thank goodness he is okay, but also, wow.
Yeah. Insane stuff. But yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about that all weekend where I'm just like, oh my God, we almost saw a footy fatality.
Yeah, I mean, back in like I think it was like 2001, the Dockers had a rookie by the name of Luke Toyer who broke his neck in a similar way playing for Subiaco in the Waffle Reserves. So, it looked really similar. Like you put them side by side and there's not a lot of difference. So the fact that one result happened in a broken neck and being out of football for 12 to 18 months, whereas this one has turned into he's completely fine and can play the next week, it just shows the scale of what kind of injury can come out of those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Damo, what caught your eye this week?
My team was like incredibly mediocre. Just talk about my team for a minute. Every player in my team scored between 70 and 110. So I didn't have a captaincy worthy score, and no rookie or player really shat the bed, but it was just annoyingly mediocre to the point where my rank took a hit, my score for the week took a hit, but there was nothing that made me go, wow, I've got to fix this up.
Josh Lindsay's 132 single-handedly crawled me out of the hole of having so many terrible players.
Actually, that was my one good score.
I agree with you. It was just such a bad week for some people. Like, I had 4 scores over 100 on field. I was lucky enough to have the vice captaincy on Brodie Grundy, who was my highest scorer. And just like, I look at it on paper and I'm like, Holmes, LDU have been doing pretty good all year. Shields has been doing pretty good all year. I've got Pickett. McInerney was certainly a choice by me.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit later.
But yeah, I get what you mean, Damon. Like, it's just, I don't understand. Like, it's hard sometimes to tell why your team is failing when you understand the quality of the players by name.
Yeah. I mean, Grundy wasn't just your highest scorer. You mentioned he was your highest scorer before, but he was the highest scorer of the week with that 151. Like, there wasn't really anyone that went completely gangbusters with a 170 or anything like that. So it was just one of those weeks where, the matchups matched up.
Yeah.
There's only one cash cow this week, and you spoke about him before. It's Patrick Rechko coming from the Tigers. 119k in the midfield. We all had him in versions of our preseason team. He came across from Geelong. Richmond gave Geelong a token pick because Geelong had actually delisted him, but Richmond didn't want to deal with the delisted free agency, bullshit that goes on. So they got him, and he scored 74 and 82 in his first 2 games for the Tigers, and then plays West Coast this week over at Optus. So he could actually be an on-field option for this week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see a bit of quality football from the Richmond Football Club. Solid scores for him. No notes. I'm just happy to have at least one rookie to go to with a -84. Crazy. It's a big number.
Scoring like this, he will make a lot of money, which is good for us because I said at the beginning, upgrade season is coming, and there's an issue arising where rookies, you kind of have to decide when to jump off them, but if you hold on to them for too long, you're just going to be waiting until round 17 before they've completely capped out. And last week, look, we'll talk about it briefly. The traffic lights, we recommended Jai Sarong with his break even of 64. Bad call in the end because he scored a 92 or whatever it was, but we didn't expect a 92 from him. He's completely reset his break even and he's going to go again and make a bit more cash. But with the information we had at hand, we thought he was almost at the top of his price range. Good to move on to upgrade your team because the week before, hardly anyone got a rookie right on their field, and people were saying the aim should still be to get the rookies off the field and just hold on to a couple, good backups, that kind of thing. And I think the rookie scores are nice when they go off, like when they have their breakout game or when they have a spike score that really boosts their cash generation. But deciding when to move off them can be what either makes or breaks your side, whether that's bringing in a rookie that's about to balloon in cash or a premium that's about to go on a good run of form. It's picking the moments, and you're not always going to get those calls correct.
In a lot of cases, you might never get them correct, and that's just life, Damer.
Yeah.
That is just life.
And Clarky, you mentioned before, all the targets that everyone seems to want is 570, 580k, the lowest, and then 620 to 600 to 650k, and you're just not getting those numbers by cashing in 2 rookies. And you look at the guys that are on the kind of bargain scale, like a Hugh McCluggage, Josh Dunkley, Jason Horne-Francis, those guys haven't quite hit the form that people want yet to be able to really bank on them at their prices. But these guys are established guys that with the right environment, with the right role, can really, balloon in value and push with these high end scoring. Like Hugh McCluggage is actually scoring really well for his points per minute. He's still low time on ground in that return because they're really managing him through after that injury that he had at the beginning of the season. And then Josh Dunkley, well, he never missed a session, or that's what he says in the preseason, but he had shoulder surgery. He did have a little bit of a hampered preseason in that sense, but he's now at a price where he's probably got 150k to make as long as he reaches averages like he has for the last 2 to 3 seasons. It's people aren't wanting to go for these guys that have growing to do. They want these guys that are actually doing it, and those guys are a little bit, aren't in that price range yet that people, for people to grab onto.
It's really difficult as well when I think there is a little bit of, not collective, but certainly I think for some people, fear of becoming the guy who jumped on Caleb Sarong, who's having an absolutely nightmarish season, or somebody who, say, has Ed Richards, who is also having a nightmarish season compared to what you expected from them. Even my boy Max Holmes has not been very good of late. And I think when you are jumping at a guy like a McCluggage who has a reason why he's been down, even when you're looking at Clayton Oliver, who's arguably in top tier form, there is just that little voice in the back of your head that just goes, am I wasting the cash? Like I want certainty. And where do we find that certainty? And it's definitely not in that price point.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Hugh McCluggage is going to be a really good price next week. We don't know if he's.
You really want Hugh McCluggage, though.
I do. I actually think once they start to put more minutes into him, he's going to be one of those guys that you want for the run home. And he's got a really nice buy too. There's not a lot of players that people are having in their teams that will make the buy round that the Brisbane Lions sit in an overcrowded one. So yeah. I really like him as a trade-in option for next week. Even this week, I don't mind him up against Essendon. So, look, there is value in these cheaper guys may not pop straight away, but they've got the pedigree to pop in the once they're in their stride.
Yeah, you got to trust the process just a little bit on that. So I think in the essence of upgrade season, if you're struggling for cash, just remember that there are really good choices in this value range. Like I think there's a lot of really good guys who are super affordable.
Yeah.
And they're just not as attractive as, the obvious example in the room, like bringing in a Bond, they're not flashy. They're not like, I miss Nick Dacos. I've finally got him there. They're the guys who we talk about jumping on the elevator at the right time. They're set to pop. And when they do, that's when you'll start to see the reward, even though it might not feel good straight away.
Yeah, definitely.
In other words, trade out Caleb Sarong. Sell Sarong. Buy McCluggage is the takeaway from this.
We've got a question about Sarong a bit later. So,
I've got loads of questions for you specifically, Damo, about Sarong.
Yes. Join the queue.
Yeah. And then you can pass them right on to Mini Monk.
I guess the next part of the upgrade season as well is the buys. People have to start thinking about the buys, and a lot of the players that people are looking at have the same buy. So the creativity has to come into your upgrades as well. And this is where the cheaper guys like a Dunkley, like a McCluggage, like a Horn Francis kind of, come into vogue for a bit. Like maybe these cheaper guys are worth it for the sake of buy balance.
Yeah. How are you looking for your buys?
I had a look at this the other day, and I think without trying, I am fairly balanced, but I'm just having a look now, and round 16 is bad, but I can trade to fix that.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the key takeaway, is that now is kind of the time when you're looking at those upgrades. Yeah. At least 16 is the late one. So
yeah, 16 being the last one means
who's that? Geelong Bulldogs, Melbourne, and St Kilda.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of my midfield is missing, and a fair chunk of my forward line is missing there. So
somehow it's actually my worst buy, which, that's also...
Yeah.
Huh. I've inadvertently set myself up okay for buys.
Yeah.
Next question.
And I think it's just a case of holding on to that balance and not tipping the scales in one direction too much.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's move to the Spark, Clarky. It's your pick this week. Sell me your Spark.
I don't gotta sell you shit, Damo. This guy sells himself. Do you want to have a guess off the top of your head? Just for fun. See if Nostradamus still is around.
Ooh, he sells himself.
Yeah.
Nazaya.
No, the he sells himself thing was completely unrelated. It's not Nazaya. Too obvious, Damo.
Okay. Give me a clue.
He has only had 2 scores this year under 100.
Ooh. No, it wouldn't be him, too obvious.
Would you like another clue?
Just tell me.
Just tell you, listeners, if you play along at home, this player is also under 600k.
Oh, I have a guess.
Oh, you're back in now, are you, Damo?
Is it Lockie Neal?
It is not Lockie Neal. However, very closely, if you look just one down on the 3-round average, Damo, it is one Jai Newcomb. $542,500.
Yep.
Has only had 2 scores under 100, like I said, which was a 63 in round 0 and an 87 in round 4 against Geelong. His last 3 games are 112, 125, 136. And you want to talk about consistency. He's currently averaging 26 disposals. He is currently averaging 12 kicks, 14 handballs, 3 marks, 4 tackles. And he is a clearance machine. He is averaging pretty much 8 clearances for the season so far.
I love the Jai Newcomb pick.
Yeah, coming off a 30 disposal game against Gold Coast at UTAS, so I don't know how much we can put in that.
He's been put on the radar a few times this week for me. So
yeah,
I
6
like
tackles,
that.
4 frees for, and 2 frees against. So that probably inflated his score a little bit, but he scored 136 this week. It comes up. I think his run is quite friendly for him as well. Collingwood, Fremantle, Melbourne, Adelaide, and St Kilda. I don't think any of those teams really run any kind of hard tag.
Not a hard tag, no. But as I pointed out a couple of weeks ago, Andy Brayshaw is kind of tagging.
He's doing whatever they need him to do, which is disgusting. Use him as a midfielder.
It's not good for it's not good for Supercoach owners, but it's good for Freo.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think he's got a very favourable run coming up, and not a lot to really stop him. Sells himself, Damo. Yep. Do you want a guy who's only scored under 100 twice for 540k? Do it.
I do, actually, if I could afford him.
Yeah, do it. He's actually less expensive than Lockie Neal, who I think Lockie Neal looks really good this week off of 132, but overall, it's kind of, he's been on a run against some, I would argue, weaker teams as well. 114, like Lockie Neal, 114 against Collingwood, 132 against North, 111 against Melbourne, which is okay, I think, in a 2-point loss, and a 132 against Adelaide in a game where they absolutely smashed them. So Essendon, Carlton, Geelong, GWS in their upcoming, so could be good, could be bad. That includes like an O'Sheen Mullen and a possibly Toby Bedford tag, and then an Andy Brayshaw tag after that. So I quite like him just a little bit cheaper. I think Newcomb's not really got anyone else as well who's going to take points from him, like a McCluggage, like a Dunkley, like an Ashcroft.
Will Day is close to returning, but I don't think that will change Newcomb's role. So I actually think it might improve Newcomb's role once Dave returns. So yeah, I do like that pick. I like that quite a lot at 542k as well. So yep, good spark.
Yeah, it's worth a punt.
All right, Clarky, put on your boots and your hat, and let's head out to the ranch to round up some questions. Just a reminder, guys, please submit questions before 8 p.m. Melbourne time on a Wednesday to be included in that week's episode. Link to the question form on our website or comment on our social media posts. And you can now send us voice memos, but they have to be in by Tuesday, 8 p.m. Link on our website next to the link to our question form.
Yep.
So questions by Wednesday, 8 p.m, voice memos by Tuesday, 8 p.m.
You heard the man. That goes the same goes for gratitudes and grievances.
Which we have none of this week.
Yeah,
there is no
nobody's happy. Everybody's happy or everybody's neutral.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
First question comes from Squidlips.
Hey, Squid.
What is Reidy's job security? It's terrible, mate.
Not good. It's absolutely awful.
But
Okay, where do we start? Mark Pitney, probably back anytime soon.
I can start in multiple places. They played together in round 0, and Reidy scored 30 and did next to nothing. So, look, I get it. He scored quite well in the main role up against Freo last week, but he's not going to have that role once Pitney returns. And the last thing you want is a dead rookie on your bench who's not making any cash.
It's hard as well because the only way I could see him as a viable trade this week is if you're jumping off McAndrew. That's the only reason, because what the other option for trading out McAndrew is to just a dead R3.
But that's only if McAndrew is your R3, not your R2.
Oh yeah, sorry, I keep on forgetting that you're in a very specific situation.
I'm not I'm not the only one that has.
I'm not
McAndrew
saying you're the
R2.
only one, but you're the representative of the McAndrew R2.
Yeah.
Of this podcast, as a man who's holding a dead Tim English says.
Yeah, that's you. That's not me.
He might be alive this week, just like he was almost alive last week.
Yeah, he might be. It's a bit of a will he, won't he kind of scenario now, isn't it? The Western Bulldogs injury reports have become almost Geelong-like.
Yeah.
In fact, almost too Geelong-like. Geelong's not even hoodwinking us with their injury reports anymore.
I would. You know what? You're not the first person to say that. And sorry, I know that we're not talking about Liam Reidy anymore because we answered the question. Squid, sorry. But I would say with the Bulldogs, Tim English is the only one who's got ambiguity around him. They've been pretty good with all of their other injuries. Like Tom Liberatore is dealing with a really complex concussion issue. Aaron Norton is apparently completely fine. Even Cody Waitman has a return to football now, like a plan in place, which is really, really bloody good. Like, I'm super chuffed for Cody. Like, it's so hard. It's been so hard for him. So Tim English is like the biggest question mark. So they're not quite as bad as Geelong, but they're on notice. Put them on notice, Damo.
Done. On notice. Next question comes from Weldon T. Hello, you two sexy beasts. Hope you're both well. We are now. You've called us sexy beasts. He was after a value primo keeper defender in the 450 to 500k range and thought Bailey Dale looks like he might do as he looks like he is over his early season injury. What are your thoughts on Dale as a pick? Also in the price range, does anyone else take your fancy? I'm currently running with Clark, Sinclair, Whitfield, Ash, and 4 rookies. Take care and keep doing what you're doing. Thanks, Weldon.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
But objectively, Bailey Dale probably is a good pick.
Subjectively.
Yeah, they both work.
Subjectively, meh, says Damo. So
In that price range,
I think in that price range, what were we talking, like 450 to 500?
Yeah, 450 to 500 is what his question states. Yeah.
If you're willing to spend a little bit more, NAS exists.
I don't mind Callum Mills.
I do actually really like the Bailey Dale pick. He's done it before. We've actually spoken about him building into the season previously as well and affecting other players. Bulldogs have a bit of a necessity around him actually being good as well right now. In that price range, there's actually not a lot of great options.
Yeah, the only other one that really stands out to me is Callum Mills.
Yeah. I mean, like, Josh Dacos is under 500 now, if you don't already have him. He's had a few.
I like Josh Dacos, but I own Josh Dacos, so you know.
I've also really liked Jaden Short's season so far. I think he's had a lot of very good games. He's only had 2 scores under 100. He was a late out this week because of, if you read news.com, wife drama, which is code for his wife went into labour.
Yes. No. He wasn't, being a good father and being there for the birth of his child. The wife had drama.
She was absolutely the problem.
She was just giving birth to a fucking child.
Gorgeous baby as well. The only problem is that Richmond play West Coast this week, so I don't think that'll be too fruitful on the defensive front.
I mean,
maybe
it probably is Wooden Spoon Cup.
Yeah. It's probably it's probably going to be the worst game of the week, Damo. You're right. Yeah,
But
looking through that, like,
it could also be the most fascinating game of the week as well.
yeah,
It's like,
I
it's
do.
just how bad really are these teams?
They really, yeah, Bailey Dale for 460 feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think Bailey Dale's the one that is kind of where people are leaning.
I'd maybe put Jaden Short slightly ahead of him because Jaden Short's had pretty good consistency this year. But Bailey Dale, I think, is probably the higher ceiling guy.
I've had people ask me about Luke Ryan at 493k. I can't do Luke Ryan.
Don't ask. Don't ask about him. And definitely don't bring in Wayne Miller.
I'm just having a look at the names. Caleb Daniels had a quietly consistent season.
I think the thing is, right, if we're really going to look at these guys, right, if we're really going to, Weldon, for me, if you start looking at these guys who are just like, oh, like they're on a pretty good bit of form, but you actually don't want them. And I think that's kind of the point that Damo and I are at, where we've isolated maybe 3 names that we like. And the rest of them are just like, well, the numbers say that they're doing well. And it's not always about the numbers. Like, you have to open your super coach and not want to throw up like we do.
If you've singled out Bailey Dale as the guy that jumps off the page immediately when you go into that 450 to 500k range, then he almost picks himself for you. If no one else has jumped out off the page for you, then Bailey Dale's got to be the guy. Like our advice and what other people might say about Bailey Dale, there are people that have been burned by Bailey Dale, me, that won't pick him ever again. But I mean, he actually does look like an okay pick at that price. So I would pick Bailey Dale if I were you, because that's who seemed to jump off the page at you when he's in your price range.
Yep. Do it.
Next question is from Tristan. Looking to trade Dev Robertson or maybe Lombard to keep the loophole option instead, and was thinking either Petrarca or Kozzy Pickett. Petrarca will have to come in at some point, but Pickett has the lower break even this week. Is Pickett a keeper we will all want in our teams, so better to get him this week, or Petrarca maybe next week? Or avoid Pickett and go straight to Petrarca? Finally, should I go mad and get in Brent Daniels instead? Now, there's a bit of this that I've missed, which is he's hoping Brisbane doesn't play Zane Zakostelski. Oscar Allen is out for 14 weeks, or up to 14 weeks with a foot issue. Zane feels like the kind of guy they might bring in and swing Gallup forward. So Zakostelski in defence, Gallup forward again. So if you want to keep a loophole option, then trade Lombard and keep Robertson.
Yeah.
But, Clarkey, you've watched Kozzy Pickett closely as a Melbourne man. Is he going to keep this form up, be that guy out of the middle for Melbourne and be a forward that we all want in our teams by season end?
I don't mean this in any way as a disrespect to our lovely listeners, especially not Tristan. Tristan's a regular writer, and we appreciate you, Tristan. If it's the same Tristan, it might be a new Tristan every week. Who knows? We had an issue with Nebulous Tims last year, if you'll recall correctly. Kozzy is absolutely a keeper. Like, if you're like, there is absolutely no world where you look at him and you go, you know, will we want him in our teams? He is currently playing as a top, probably 3 forward right now. Like, I think that's fair to say, right?
Yep.
Just based on role, just based on scoring, you know, he's done it for multiple weeks now. I'm not saying that that's like, that couldn't change or that things don't happen or, you know, whatever. But really the only difference between him and Petrarca is 10k. Petrarca's average looks a lot better because he missed a lot of football and he only has 1 poor score in his cycle. And his cycle includes a 170 and a 152, followed by an injured 86, and then a 105 and a 111. I think Christian Petrarca, Harry Sheasel, and Kozzy Pickett are the top 3 forwards for this year. Like, I think it's already set the way it is, and then the rest of the guys down on any. So pick the guy that you want. Like, pick the guy that's more fun for you to watch. I had to pick between Kozzy and Petrarca not last week, the week before, and I chose Kozzy because it was more fun. I enjoyed that. I love watching him play football. I'm watching the Melbourne games anyway, but I think you've also hit the nail on the head where Petrarca is also someone that you're going to want to own at some point. So he's got a 115 break even this week, and Cozzy has an 89 break even this week against Sydney. He probably cops a tag from James Jordan, but if you've watched any Melbourne football at the moment, Cozzy will just get his points by attacking the scoreboard. Like, that's his X factor, is that he'll be able to put up a reasonable score just by still needing to be a part of the offense. Even if they've got someone, Andy McGrath, I think, ran with him during the Essendon game for like 90% of the game, at least like most of the game, and he still scored a 94. Like, and that was essentially a hard tag. So go with a guy with a lower break even whose price is going to rise. Hope that Petrarca against GWS maybe cops a Toby Bedford. If he doesn't, 115 is kind of achievable but not achievable. But you got to play the numbers, right? Like, get the guy who's cheaper, get the guy who's average, like scoring well, get the guy who's got the role that even if he has a poor score in 1 week, that role's not going to change. That makes sense? Have I rambled a little bit?
No, I like it. And just to sell Pickett a little further, he has West Coast after Sydney. So, like, his run is Sydney this week, which we probably will see a Jordan tag, but we saw Bont able to get off the Jordan tag last week. So it's not as clampy as we have seen in the past. Then he has...
Well, I think, they can't afford to give up the extra midfielder, I reckon.
Yeah. And then we've got... and then Pickett's got West Coast, Hawthorn, Bulldogs, Giants, Collingwood, Essendon, Adelaide. It's a pretty good run. Only, like, one of those teams probably has a tagger that can run with him.
Yeah. I think you should... I definitely... You've kind of... Absolutely, like, you've answered your own question, because you're a smart, beautiful, handsome listener of the Footy Mailbag, Tristan, which is go with Pickett because he's got the lower break even, and understand that you definitely need to get Petrarca probably next week or even the week after, right? Like, he's not going to be completely unattainable in 2 weeks unless he scores back-to-back like 180s.
Yeah.
Brent Daniels, I like it. It's spicy, it's crazy, but just be willing to accept a really crap score.
Yeah. I traded in Brent Daniels last year when he came off 2 good scores on before his bubble. And then he had one game where he scored like a 58 or something. And then he was out again for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where if his injury reoccurs again, they're gonna be conservative about it. It's almost the Aaron Hall scenario with Brent Daniels. He's injured until he's not.
He's so good when he's not injured.
And then he's not injured until he is. You know, it's one of those things where you can get caught out if you grab him at the wrong moment. If you jump on now, he's going to make some cash, and he might be a quick flip later in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, I couldn't go there given the amount of injuries I've had to deal with in my team so far this season. But I can see the appeal in a Brent Daniels.
I love Brent Daniels as a player. I think he's absolutely got a ceiling, but his role is a little bit undefined at the moment. And he does have a history of long-term injury, which, obviously, hopefully he gets over. But I really like it as long as you are willing to accept that risk.
Yeah.
So factor it into your future planning. It's probably not for me, but I think it's fun. Is that good advice? Probably not.
And then just to read ahead, DDG has the next question asking as well about Brent Daniels. Would you trade in a spicy forward selection in Brent Daniels this week and for a boost sidewaysing a rookie? Look, a rookie to Brent Daniels is interesting. Depends on the rookie. If it's Devin Robertson, yes, absolutely. If it's Braden Cook, no, I wouldn't.
I don't know about sidewaysing a rookie. Sorry, that wasn't part of the question. Yeah, here's the thing. It's one of those. I think my answer on Brent Daniels is a firm. I probably wouldn't, but I'm in a much more dire scenario than a lot of people.
Yep, I think I'm with you there.
But he is spicy, and you need to be willing to accept the risk. So you understand what you have to gain, understand what you have to lose, And if you're
Yep.
comfortable with that, it's fun. Like, it is really fun. Supercoach is fun. I probably wouldn't boost to sideways a rookie.
Yeah.
It feels like bad. It feels like bad economy. You're better off sort of saving that boost for a week where you really need that extra move, because there is going to be one of those coming, and you'll wish that you had it.
Next question comes from Jeffrey Head, directed at me in particular.
Finally, Damo gets to cop some heat on this show.
What is going on with Caleb Sarong? Why is his scoring so poor? He doesn't look to have had a role change. Is it low time of ground last couple of games? If so, why is he getting low time on ground? Please, Damo, Master of the West, share your insight into Caleb with us. Look, with 5 on the bench and Caleb being the victim of a tag, they have just started taking him off the field if the tag is getting on top of him too much. Eventually, the tag releases, and then he starts scoring a bit more freely. But yeah, it's his role hasn't changed. It's literally a tagging problem, and the fact that he can't quite get out from under a tag at the moment. There's also the other issue that the midfield mix at the Dockers has become a bit more deeper. He's still getting most of the center throw up attendances, but he's also with Young, Jackson, Bolton, Reid, Brayshaw, Switkowski is even running through there. I think Johnson, Erasmus, all these guys are now running through the midfield at the Dockers. That Caleb Sarong is no longer the guy anymore that has to be extracting the ball. So I think it's twofold. His time of ground is limited so that to manage a tag, but also it's a bit of a too many cooks in the kitchen situation.
Yep. Boo. Boo Dockers.
What? How do you get that out of that?
That's all I'm taking. That's what I'm taking out of it, Damo. This is your team's fault. Your team has ruined Caleb Sarong by having too many good players.
Sure, I'll take it. I guess it feels like a backhanded compliment, but
yeah,
sure.
That's fine. Whatever. I'm booing Fremantle until Caleb Sarong is fixed. All right, that's the new rule. Add him to the list, Damo.
I think the next 4 weeks will decide if he's going to be good for Supercoach or bad for Supercoach for the rest of the season.
He'll be out of my side very shortly if I didn't have bigger problems.
Next question is from Jared. Who should be traded first? Mid-prices like Bruin, Young, or rookies like Sherry, Lombard, Grill, Blamires, Jakes? He has $445K in the bank after Smith out for Rechko. Think about Dacos, but already have Houston, Clark, Sarong, and Jackson on that buy. Missing big scoring premiums like a second ruck, no Bont, Dacos, or Bailey Smith. Who are the best premiums to be attacking?
I mean, if you can get Bont, get Bont.
You've pretty much made your list there, Jared.
Bont,
Bont's going to be a good price pretty soon. He's $603K. His break even's 160. He's going to be below $600K. Barring a game out of the box against Fremantle on Friday night. So I think he's your first target to get one of those big scoring premiums.
Do you need to get him this week? I don't know. Maybe. If you got him this week, it would still be a good price, even if he loses money.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And he's definitely a lot cheaper than a Bailey Smith, who is currently $670K, even though he's scoring well. I would probably say as well, don't discount Nick Dacos. Yes, it's not great for your buy structure, but it's Nick Dacos. Like, he is quality, he is consistency, he is still a premium player. Like, if you were to trade like a Bruin or a Young to Nick Dacos, you'd still be laughing. You'd still be really happy.
Just on those mid prices, who should be traded first question, always trade the rookies out first, I think. But there is a point where the mid prices may have to go before the rookies in certain scenarios. Like Tanner Bruin, his break even is 92, I believe.
It is, yes.
And he is at GMHBA Stadium this week, where for some reason he's just not scoring well. When Geelong are at home, you would think he'd be playing well, but he's not. 47 and 59, I think, his last two scores at GMHBA, and I don't think he's settled into a role at the moment because Max Holmes has moved behind the ball. So it's very much a horses for courses type thing with who you trade first and what it does to your team, what it helps your team do in the long run. It's like trading Bruin this week might serve you better than trading someone like a Grill or a Blamires. Blamires could be a looping option for you. I don't know if he's going to be back for North, but if he doesn't play, he could be a good looping option for you. Yeah, it's very much a team dependent scenario who you move first. But question on the surface, I think you move the rookies before you mid prices.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, you really did have to think about it. You kind of looked off into the distance to just double check that I was talking sense.
It's not whether or not you were talking sense, it was whether or not I agreed. I think, yeah, my issue only is with Bruin, who we haven't really spoken about yet, have we?
No, not really.
I think we did it off camera. So we did it off recording. He's kind of an interesting one, isn't he? Because when he's on, he's scoring enough that he's justified his spot as like an M8, right? Or even like a first off the bench.
Yeah.
But then he just has these games where like he's not involved at all. He puts up like a really stinky score, and there's a lot of Geelong players who are kind of doing that. Like Holmes is having really crap ones occasionally. Tom Stewart has like had a few really good games and it absolutely tanked. And we're seeing probably rises to make them all average in, what's his name? He's one of the O'Sullivans. Connor O'Sullivan?
Connor?
Yeah. He's kind of had a bit of an uptick and he's now feeling like he's maybe like a 70 kind of guy instead of like a random 50s kind of guy. So I actually see a world where leveraging the maximum cash that Bruin has made to get a Bond, to get a Dacos, brother, like money well spent, like jump, like when you're at the top of the ladder, like jump to the ledge. If you catch my meaning.
I think I get your meaning. Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's using that 300k to get to Bond, and you still have like a little bit in the bank. Kind of works for me.
All makes sense to me. Yeah.
So I think there's two different approaches, and Damon and I agree with each other. I think we've said it a few times already in this episode, but it's whatever approach you're comfortable with. Yes, Bond's going to be cheaper next week, and Nick Dacos has an unfavorable buy for you, but having either of those guys, whether it's at 600k or 580 or 590 or whatever Bond ends up being, they're still probably top 10 mids. Like, you come out on top.
Yeah. And then finally, Matthew, what do we do with Watkins, currently in my forward line as I held last week, as he was out, but then a late inclusion and dropped some cash. I have no forward to DPP swing him to another line. What are your thoughts on Liam Reidy to open a forward ruck swing with Steen at R3? Also, is it worth a boost to get Rechko, Reidy, and a Primo mid, eyeing off Dawson currently? Thanks. So we've already said no to Liam Reidy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fairly strong no there as well. So I think you just hold on to Watkins for now. It is going to be difficult because there could be a point in time where his price actually goes down to basically where it started, and it's not. Is he far away from that already? I can't remember. He's 152k, so he's losing cash at not a good rate. But I think you got to hold on to him while there's nowhere really to go, and boosts. So then it rules out your boost as well. Get Rechko. I actually don't mind the Jordan Dawson pick if you want to go there. But yeah, no to Reidy in that scenario.
Yeah. I like the Jordan Dawson part of your plan, but I hate almost everything else about it. I just think Watkins, it's like there's nowhere really to go with him. So until you have a jump off point, you kind of need to hold him. Really, I'm not willing to take that risk, and I'm not willing to encourage anyone else to take that risk. However, if you can get Rechko and you can get Dawson, good job.
I just love how every time we mention Liam Reidy's name, we almost sigh in derision. You know, like we both go. Oh.
It's not that. It's just
you just did it again.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about the best way to phrase it. I think about it, and I think I'm disappointed that I can't say yes, because he would be really handy.
I'm just disappointed in Liam Reidy, to be honest.
I think he did quite well without Pitney in the one game that's been good.
Yeah, but how often is he going to have that one game? He scored 30 when they played together and did
a minus 67 break even, so he only needs to stay in the team for like 2-3 games max.
And I doubt that happens.
We'll see. Pitney could implode at any moment.
Yeah. Answers
anyway.
No.
Yeah. Hope that helps, Matthew. Probably didn't.
Oh, Clarky, we're going to talk about the traffic lights.
Do we?
Last week was not good.
No.
Last week we were 0-3, 0 from 3. After that, was it Thursday night? Was the Thursday night game? And
yeah,
did you let us know? Did people let us know?
A couple of you did.
Yeah, and unfortunately, look, regretfully, we bit back a bit. But
we
me, I get very.
You know what? I represent the band as well.
I get very possessive. I get very possessive about the traffic lights.
It's always the comments that come after the game. I think those are the ones that frustrate us, because I know, and you know what the worst part is? Like, there was one guy, and don't get me wrong, I love all of our listeners, I love all the engagement, you're all great. The one guy who's like, "Ooh, like, I'm just having a joke, you fellas. We make it before the game." You don't get to tell us after the game's happened. Once the game happens, the traffic lights are null and void because the game is unpredictable.
But we are going to start grading the traffic lights.
Yeah, we're going to get that guy in.
In the wash-up that is released at the conclusion of the round on Sunday nights, there will be a score out of 10, because there's 10 squares in every traffic lights. How many we got right? Last week was a 5.5 out of 10. The week before that was a 7.5 out of 10. Now, where am I getting these 0.5s from?
I was going to ask.
If the players are yellow and it's we got to see more in the role, or we've got to, or it depends on your team, or something like that is kind of what the write-up says. Is it a tick or a cross? That's kind. It's kind of it's not any. We haven't leaned in either direction for it. So 0.5, if like 0.5 in my opinion for those, but people might tell me that it's a cross or a tick.
Wouldn't it just be easier to not include them?
Yeah, maybe
in the scoring.
But then it just means I could just do a whole traffic lights of yellows and then not have to grade anything.
We wouldn't do a whole traffic lights of yellows, though.
Wouldn't we?
Would. You know what? You do whatever makes you happy, baby. Now the Dame has introduced us. Now the Dame has gamified the traffic lights. The podcast was never the same.
What's maniacal laugh? Maniacal laugh. What? Yeah, keep a lookout for our traffic lights across our socials and on our website. Green is good. Go and get them. Yellow is a watch or a hold, and red is a trade or a void. Yeah, yellow is a 0.5.
Yellow is 0.5.
A player could earn their rating for several reasons, including, but not limited to, scoring potential, job security, price point, reliability, or injury status. Read the blurb to get our thoughts.
Hey, we need to put that on the traffic lights posts.
Yeah, we probably do. Yeah, probably. But you'll know who doesn't listen to the podcast by the comments that get posted underneath.
And I'm waiting for some people to call out some of these non-listeners, so these fake fans.
Yeah, so look out for the traffic lights. They'll be posted after teams drop on Thursday. I haven't needed an update on Friday recently, but if it's needed, one will come out. So yeah, socials or on the website, click the traffic lights art on the podcast player next to the podcast player, and it will take you to the post where it lives on Instagram.
Very good.
Vice captains and captains, Clarkie, check out Nate's article if you haven't already.
Do it.
He nails his captains every week almost. It's actually pretty remarkable to see how good he is at picking his captain for the round. I haven't been able to pick a good captain 2 weeks in a row yet this season, which is really hurting my team, I think. But yeah, Nate hits the nail on the head almost every single week with most of his picks. So really good job from Nate there. Clarkie, just for people who haven't read it yet, who are you going with as your, we won't reveal your captain, but your vice captain? Go and read the article for captain.
Hang on, I'm just checking. Just checking what I told him. Let's have a look here.
Just to pull back the curtain a bit, Nate writes this article on a Monday when we probably really haven't thought about it. So,
but no, me specifically, I haven't thought about it. Zach Butters is who I've got for the VC. And the showdown. The showdown's happening this week.
Yeah, nice.
That makes the most sense. I might change that. It depends on my trades, Damo. It depends on my trade. I've got a couple things floating up in the air. If Tim English doesn't play, I will ditch him. In which case, I am looking at bringing in Luke Jackson, and he will probably be my VC.
Very good.
Against no ruck Bulldogs.
I don't love vice captaining in the first game, especially when it's Collingwood v Hawthorn and Finn McGuinness is in the set team. But my VC is on Nick Dacos this week, and then I will decide after that, if it doesn't work out, who my captain is, because I literally have no idea.
Yeah, that's good. Captains are hard.
And unfortunately, you got to nail them to keep up with the pack.
It's weird. I've only had 1 week where my captain was really bad, but I'm still not hanging out with the pack. It hurts, Damo.
It really does kill you. And that's it for this episode of the Footy Mailbag. If you haven't given us a rating on your listening platform of choice, please do so. It helps new listeners find us. And on social media, you can find us at Footy Mailbag on X and Facebook, at The Footy Mailbag on Instagram, and also thefootymailbag.net for our website. I am at DamoSC on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days. Clarkie, give your plugs.
You can find me at Quantum JC, or more importantly, you can find me at my other podcast, The Falcon, which is at Falcon Footy Pod.
Thanks for listening. We'll talk next time. Hey, I can reveal next week's guest, actually.
Yeah, you can.
We've got Patch.
I had lunch at Patch Day. That was nice.
So make sure you get your questions in for when Patch joins us next week. Going to be lots of fun. Love that guy.